Hello, welcome back to Quilt in Color. My name is Shalina. Thank you for joining me again today for the 15 Minutes to Quilt Challenge. I hope that you get a chance to sew along with me so that you can enter to win prizes. Today I'm going to be working on my Sunshine and Winter quilt. The pattern was once available for free from Free Spirits Fabrics. It's called Garden Mosaic by Denise Schmidt. And as you can see, it is for advanced skill level, and it's a longer term project because of all of the different triangles that are in this quilt. And here is the basic block diagram. My friends who have made this quilt call it demented, and can you blame them? I don't know how many triangles there are in this quilt. I don't know if I even know enough numbers to be able to count up that high. I'm pretty sure that the pattern will tell me how many there are, but I don't want to know. It's not a number I want to know. It's a quilt that I showed you last year, and we were able to put some more blocks together. One thing I noticed about this quilt that seems pretty obvious and common sense is that if you only work on a quilt for 15 minutes a year, especially a quilt that has this many parts and pieces, it's going to take a lot of years for me to finish this quilt. So I tried something recently to make more progress on this quilt. My common sense told me that it would not work. But in the interest of science and exploration and experimentation, I went ahead and tried it anyway, is that I bought some more fabric for this quilt. This is a layer cake with all sorts of yellow fabric that I can use for this quilt. So you may be wondering what the results are of this experiment. One thing that I realized after buying this, which actually I already knew, is that because I already have enough fabric for this quilt, buying more fabric is not going to help me advance progress on this quilt. It actually takes me backwards in time because now I have to decide which fabrics not to use, and I have to decide what to do with the leftovers. Neither one of those are going to be a problem for me because some of this fabric I can just use less of and it'll still be fine. I won't need to use all of this fabric in the quilt. And also, I like the color yellow in my quilts, and so finding another place to put these yellow fabrics will not be a problem for me at all. But there is a benefit in that I am eager to cut into this fabric to make my quilt. I don't know if you noticed, but this quilt is made up of 100 gazillion triangles. So today I thought we'd try to find a way to make these triangles faster so we can make faster progress on this quilt. I have used triangle paper in the past, but I don't have the right size for this particular quilt. So today I'm going to be drawing lines on my layer cake fabric to make the triangles as fast as possible in a method that's very similar to the triangle paper that you can buy. So let's get started and see how many triangles we can make in 15 minutes. Okay, let's take a quick look at what's in the box. So first off, we have some finished blocks. There's not as many as I would like, but these are the ones with the dark with the dark parts on the outside. And then there's a small handful of ones with the light outsides. And then there's lots and lots of fabric that I can use to make more of these. There's white and yellow, pretty much, and there's some parts and pieces in here, so there's more parts. There's more triangles that can be used to make the blocks. And I could join these today, but today I just wanted to make some more triangles. If you see the directions I gave myself, it looks like I was using 8 at a time half square triangles. So today I'm going to be trying to make them with more than 8 at a time. And so what I've done is I've cut up a white piece of fabric. That's a 10-inch square. So I can just use that with my layer cake fabric. And I just need to pick one. I'm just going to use this one because there's no point in spending all day deciding. The nice thing about this, these are batik fabrics, and so the nice thing about them is that the front and the back are pretty similar in color. Okay. So for the size that I need, It looks like I was actually cutting in increments so that I would not have to trim. It looks like it says 4 7/8 here, so I would not need to trim. But today I've decided, because I had the layer cake, is I'm just going to use the size the way it is without having to trim. So now we need a ruler and figure out how to divide this into proper triangles so that we can make our quilt. So I'm looking at the back of the light fabric, and I'm just going to mark the lines that I need for this quilt. So if you look here, since this is a 10-inch square, I'm just going to mark it in half, and that'll approximate the size that I needed to make the 8 at a time triangles. And then I'll mark it on the other direction. Just want to have a line that I can measure against, this one and this one. And so now this is a 5-inch line. And then I want to make a diagonal line. It looks like this one is not long enough for that. This ruler is not, but I have another one that will work. Like I'm off a little bit on that one. Let me see if I can fix this line a little bit. Okay. Now I'm also going to need to draw additional lines, because this will just wind up being a half square triangle if I wind up just leaving it the way it is. So I need to draw some additional lines. So the line I'm thinking of is this way to this way. You can actually buy paper that has these lines drawn for you already, and it gives you arrows on which direction to sew. So that will work for you if that's what you would prefer, something that's easy where you don't have to draw the lines. But to me, just drawing the lines is a pretty simple, straightforward process, so I don't mind just making the lines. Okay, and then I need to draw some more lines. So I think this is all of the sewing lines that I need, but I do need to draw some more cutting lines, because I want to cut this way and this way so that I can have all the triangles that I need. So I'm just going to follow this dot to this point to this point, and if I were paying attention, I could also measure to make sure that that's right, but it looks right to me. Let's see here, if we measure dot point to point, you can see that we're cutting 2.5, which makes sense because this is a 5-inch square, so 2.5 is exactly in the middle. So the paper will actually have dotted lines and solid lines so that you can easily know which one is which. But I don't think I'm going to have trouble. I just know that I need to sew on the diagonal lines and cut on the lines going this way and that way. Last one. Okay. So there you have it. I've drawn all of the lines that I need to make these half square triangles. And because this square is an 8.5, I'll have 8 times 4 triangles that'll be made just in this one piece of fabric. So let's get to the sewing machine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sew on both sides of the diagonal lines, and basically I'll just sew down one way and then come back up this way and then come back down this way, and then I can go this way. Actually, I can go this direction, and then I can just sew down this way. I can just sew this direction. And I'm going to be sewing on both sides of the line so that each little square here will make 2 half square triangles. Okay, let's go to the sewing machine. Okay, I'm back. As you can see, I've gone ahead and sewn on both sides of the drawn lines. And so now this is a nice project. Lots of little lines everywhere. And you can see the back Looks like this. Looks like lots of diamond shapes in the back. So now it's just a simple matter of cutting on the drawn lines. Actually, I need to cut on every single drawn line that's here. So this one. This one. This one. Diagonal lines. And I'm trying not to pick up it. I'm trying not to move the line, to move the fabric so that everything stays in place so I can cut all of them at the same time. If you did pick out the pieces, it's not that big a deal because the lines are still there. But if you just leave it the way it is, then you can cut more than one line at a time, more than one block at a time. Okay, so this line. And the last one. Okay. So now I've cut on every single drawn line that's here. Good, sure. And then we can count how many triangles we have left over. Just going to snip any extra ones in here with my scissors because apparently I didn't cut very well. Two, three. I didn't cut this one. Four. And if you miss cutting any, it's a simple matter of just cutting it on the line. There are some triangle papers that will cut off your dog ears for you while you're making this, so you can look into that. Here you can see that each square gives you two half square triangles. Didn't realize I did this. I think this rotary cutter needs another blade. Again, I think the one that I had initially was not sharp enough anyway. Maybe it was a used one that I didn't realize. And since I cut them at 5" initially, I can trim them to size to make them the size that I want them to be. But I think this size is going to be okay the way it is. It's such a small amount of space. And because it's sewn next to a solid square, I think the solid squares can help keep us in line with the size of the squares that they need to be. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 2. 8 times 4 is 32. Okay, so now I made 32 triangles, all with one 10-inch layer cake square. This will give me lots of blocks that I can use for my sunshine and winter quilt, and I just need to press all these so that I can attach them to the squares. I hope that you enjoyed watching me make progress on my sunshine and winter quilt today, and I hope that you too got a chance to sew along with me. And if you did, don't forget to enter for the prizes. The first way is if you did get a chance to sew along with me today, just leave a comment to let me know what you worked on today, and I'll give you an entry in the drawing. The second way is just to watch my videos, and if you did that, then just leave a comment to mention something that happened today, and you'll get another entry. This video is part of a series of videos where I work on my projects for 15 minutes a day. Every day I invite you to join me in making progress on your project. Your project can be a quilting project, but it does not have to be. You can make progress on any of your other sewing or art projects. I hope that you take the time for yourself to be able to do something that you enjoy. I'll leave a link here to yesterday's video in case you missed it. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all of your support, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.